Book one was all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a global P&L leader, growth accelerator, profit maximizer, operational improvement through digital transformation. No other than Miss Ozge Kurtoglu.
Hi, Danielle.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Ozge, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Thank you. Özge Kurtoglu. I am currently living in the US with 25 years of corporate, Fortune 500 experience across industrial, medtech, and automotive industries. Um, and my career focused in both developed markets in the US and Canada, and for about a decade, had a journey in emerging markets in Africa, Middle East, Russia, and CIS, and China. And as you've mentioned, I have P&L experience along with sales, strategic pricing, and marketing.
Miss Orche, thank you so much for sharing your talent and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about how strategic pricing powers growth in any market. Why is moving beyond simple cost plus pricing absolutely critical for unlocking true profit growth, especially in competitive or volatile markets?
Yes, absolutely. So, as we know from the pricing research, there's mainly three different pricing orientations. We have cost plus, as you've mentioned, which is a way to determine price, looking at cost and an assumption of margin. We never know what that margin should be because it's just an assumption. And the other two methodologies are competitive pricing. It sounds good when we think about it. That said, competitive pricing is very, I guess, difficult to administer in the sense that we need to have a very strong competitive watch. But at the same time, competitive pricing almost always leads to price wars. And what's interesting about price wars is they're very easy to start and very hard to stop, and eventually would lead to margins that would sort of hit rock bottom, and eventually even lead to a situation where the innovation will move out of that industry because simply firms are not going to be able to make enough profit and therefore won't have much to sort of plow back into innovation from that standpoint. So the approach that we can take other than cost plus and competitive pricing is value-based pricing. So the idea there is if we think about the hierarchy of needs, everybody, including consumers, business decision makers, they all make their decisions based on a hierarchy. And on the if you think about that hierarchy of needs, if we're able to understand different customer segments that have different needs, and truly understand how they appreciate the value proposition, we're able to price to that preferential view and maximize our pricing opportunity. So now, is it easy to do value-based pricing? Is it easy to understand the point of view of different segments in the market of the choosers and the customers? This is where we need to rely on user research, customer insights, and more can be enabled through AI and Gen AI.
Ms. Orje, how do you help companies quantify and communicate the unique value they deliver to customers while justifies premium pricing?
Mhm. So, at the heart of premium pricing is an appreciation of both strategy, meaning product strategy, and also all of the key decision criteria that would classify a particular customer segment. Again, if we have done our job right in terms of understanding our customers, segmenting our customers based on their needs, and then really even quantifying how much they value a particular purchase criteria, and being able to really understand and quantify the strength of that value proposition, we are able to price with a premium based on that segment's needs and that segment's specialized purchase criteria. So, but again, in order to do this, the first step is understanding our customer, doing needs-based segmentation, and putting them into groups based on their needs, having a good appreciation of all of those decision drivers, key purchase criteria, and how our product compares to not just competitive products, but also sometimes non-consumption could be a competitor as well. And then finally, being able to run experiments to really understand that price differential that we can justify using our value proposition.
In what specific ways does pricing act as a more powerful lever for profit growth than simply increasing sales volume or cutting costs?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, profit is nothing but revenues minus costs. And of course, when we look at the cost picture, you have the fixed costs and variable costs. Now, we can do a lot in terms of cost optimization, but at the end of the day, you cannot create new demand, or you cannot really impact unit sales by just optimizing cost. So, in order to optimize cost, we need to think about how do we again understand demand, being able to really position our product where that demand is, being dynamic in the market in the sense that having the supply capability where that demand is going to occur, and then finally being able to really have a strong value proposition that puts forth our differentiated value prop to that particular target segment. So the only way to really optimize unit sales and increase demand is to think about that sort of revenue equation, and more readily to think about our value proposition, verbalizing it, differentiating it in the market, and reaching the right audience at the right time.
Where is the crucial line between effectively communicating value to justify price and creating customer tension or resistance?
So again, in terms of understanding customer resistance, it is a very key part of the sales process. Again, from the moment where we're able to qualify a lead, we need to really watch out for what is our customer behavior in terms of being receptive to the marketing and sales messages. Can we really understand their decision mechanism, meaning who is participating in the decision and what is their role in that decision? Now, it is very rare, it does happen, but it's very rare that in the B2B market, you will have a sole decision maker. Most B2B decisions are made through a combination of decision makers playing different roles. So if you're able to really understand how are the decisions made, and the specific role that the different individuals in the team play in that purchase process, and really think about how can we understand the needs of those decision makers, but also anticipate the resistance they may have either to change an existing product to a competitive brand that is coming into to conquer the account, or if they have resistance around budget, if their budgets are limited. it's very important to understand the root cause. Is the root cause risk aversion? Is the root cause maybe that our brand is not very well known, and we need to really continue to raise awareness and create reassurance? Or is it because it's the budgetary cycle and we need to be maybe patient, or also think about how can we maybe optimize the spending in the sense that maybe propose and capex and opex play. So at the end of the day, conquering resistance has to do with understanding who's making the decision, what is important to that decision maker, and how can we, as a combined sales and pricing team, position our product in the best way throughout that sales journey.
As a global NPL leader, growth accelerator, profit maximizer, and operational improvement through digital transformation, what are your short term and long term goals?
Um, our long-term goals has to be that we are based on our market position, we become the most preferred product that satisfy customers in the best way to lead into repeat purchase and strong brand legacy. In the short term, again, it would depend on if it's a private company or a public company, and at the end of the day, what is important to the company in that particular year. But at the end of the day, most companies would look for top line and bottom line performance. And as we think about what's happening in the world today, it's going to be all about how do we deploy faster, better, create more adoption, and leverage AI and Gen AI in that process to stay current and also to optimize our market potential along with optimizing the cost profile.
Good luck to your goals, Ms. Ozge, and looking forward for more success. What would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
I would recommend to them the idea of really having a broad-based understanding of business, not just focusing on, for example, not just focusing on price, but thinking about marketing, thinking about sales enablement, thinking about customers in depth, and really broadening their horizon. One of the best sort of recommendations from a book standpoint that I will make on this call is going to be a very classic book, and it's not even a business book actually. It's The Art of War by Sun Tzu. So a military leader from China. I think 2-3 millennia ago he lived, and it's there's really great nuggets of insights in that book that would be applicable to any business scenario, but also personal scenario. So what some of my the gems that I found that I keep repeating in but both personal and professional life is the following. For instance, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. So that's one of my classic quotes from that book. Another one, which I truly respect, is supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. So again, I would again encourage my colleagues to take a definitely develop areas of expertise, understand technology, understand how we can enable sales and optimize profitability, leveraging digital transformation, leveraging AI, Gen AI, but at the same time, continue to stay connected into the market, continue to really appreciate how to put together a differentiated brand value proposition, and really think about the very basics of marketing in the sense that always sort of thinking through the good, better, best approach in terms of positioning our brands and enabling a place in the market that conquers the minds and the hearts of our customers.
Thank you for your recommendation, Ms. Ozge, and I hope people will read it and they will empower, and of course, your advice. Thank you for your advice as well. How is technology like AI or pricing software or CPQ tools transforming the ability of companies, specifically SMBS, to implement sophisticated pricing strategies?
Absolutely. Again, AI and Gen AI is now more broadly used over the last couple of years. But if you think about the journey that has taken place in discipline of pricing, AI is nothing new. You know, we've started that journey back in actually uh, in 1990s, early 2000s, with dynamic pricing being a standard, especially in airlines and hospitality. So that was like the initial foray of AI into pricing. And of course, we see a lot of different software players, both in terms of setting the list price, so list price management, and also CPQ, which is configure price quote, specifically, again, segmenting our customers using complicated algorithms, you know, decision trees, random forest, etc., to do that segmentation based on customer behavior and needs, and also being able to present a price that is differentiated based on our understanding of that customer segment. So, but where I see a huge sort of catch up happening at the moment is, you know, we have customer relationship management software. I mean, Salesforce being one of them. There's a number of them, HubSpot, and so on. And that has been there again for a few decades. But right now we have that convergence of sales enablement and pricing, leveraging AI and Gen AI that really accelerates the sales process. So and takes the minutia out of what the sales teams, what the sales leaders need to do to go through the sales process and eventually present a price to the customer. So in that journey, I think, you know, pricers and sales enablement teams, as well as sales team members, they need to come together even quicker and faster, because it's introducing a lot of enablement and speed into the process. So from that standpoint, again, pricing has always leveraged AI, has always leveraged software. And now I think the other functions are catching up to the way that we can work together, leveraging all of these tools in our arsenal.
Ms. Orchia, pricing often involved sales, marketing, finance, and product. What's your approach to gaining alignment and overcoming internal resistance?
So, again, very much similar to overcoming resistance with our customers. I think one of the most important elements of working across teams and across functions is understanding the decision makers, understanding the players, also understanding the environment they operate in. What are their KPIs? What are their metrics? What is it that they're trying to accomplish? And then you know, at the end of the day, as species, we have evolved a lot in the last couple of million years. But at the end of the day, the human behavior is motivated by um, fear and reward systems. So if you're able to understand what is motivating a group's or a function's behavior, and how can we use that understanding to better position our point of view, and then finally crystallizing the decision making process, you know, we have a better chance of generating that alignment. I think, you know, I have seen time and again, when we think about pricing and making the pricing decisions, the more clear we are of the roles of each party in terms of making that decision, meaning having a very crystal clear delegation of authority, um, definition, and boundaries, the faster the decisions can be made, and with the benefit of the cross-functional team, so that it's at the end of the day a better decision overall for the business, for the customer, and for the market.
Very well said, Miss Orsga. Very well said. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its fourth season. And my baby podcast as well, Science 101 and Sex 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Miss Orsge, looking ahead, what emerging trends or capabilities in strategic pricing do you believe will have the biggest impact on driving profitable growth in the next 3 to 5 years?
So I believe that in the next 3 to 5 years, we will come to a place where we leverage AI and Gen AI even further. We're able to micro segment our customer base and continue to bring more dynamic pricing to some of the B2B decision making that didn't benefit from dynamic pricing before. And then finally, I think the lines of demarcation between sales enablement, especially sales enablement and pricing, I believe is going to merge. And we're going to have a much more united view of the customer internally and being able to really predict and have certain indications of future customer behavior and forecasts that are enabled maybe even at the individual customer level, using AI and Gen AI and their predictive capabilities, which should really, help enable not just pricing and sales, but also being able to have the right type of fulfillment, right type of, product at the right time when the demand is about to occur.
Miss Orchid, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or any projects that you're doing right now?
Absolutely. Again, if you are a board member, if you are a C-level executive or a CEO, and if you're facing challenges leveraging digital transformation, or being able to accelerate your deals process, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm the founder of SN Business Advisors. Happy to come in and do a diagnostic and put in place a plan of action that will deliver profitable growth in a short span of time.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Orsge, because if you support her, more and more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Miss Orsge, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Modicon people, see you soon.